You're way too fat, your waist is gone. Your legs are fine, but your ass is wrong. Starve yourself thin, now you look weak. Nothing to want, no shape to keep. War mirrors, twisting my side. Too many visions, pushing what's right. I don't know what I look like. Every version feels foreign, nothing I like. Nice boobs, but it's 'cause you're fat. Lose that weight, they'd vanish flat. They're too big, gotta be fake. Cheap and plastic, what a mistake. War mirrors, twisting my side. Too many visions, pushing what's right. I don't know what I look like. Every version feels foreign, nothing I like. Nice body with a butty face. Too much makeup, such a waste. Pretty face, too much gloss. Without those filters, total loss. War mirrors, twisting my side. Too many visions, pushing what's right. I don't know what I look like. Every version feels foreign, nothing I like. Lose weight in the front but not in the back. Shrink the waist, keep the rack. Blend it smooth, it still looks wrong. Wing the eyes, the shadows wrong. Lift it up, cut it down. Build it out, starve it down. Nothing fits, nothing stays. Shattered glass, blackout haze. Warp mirrors, twisting my side. Too many visions, pushing what's right. I don't know what I look like. Every version feels foreign, nothing I like. Three, two, one, ignition.
Okay, hello. Sweet. All right, let me check my sound real quick. Yep, seems great. Okay. Well, great. Okay, so today I am doing some work in Unreal. And let me see. So let's have a look at why. Let me find the dungeon because it's not here. Let me see. File, open level. There it is. All right, and we'll make sure it all works. It should still be working. I left it working. And play. Shit. Crap. I think it crashed. Okay, well, off to a little bit of a rough start. Oh, that sucks. Okay, let me kill this. There we go. Unreal. And goodbye. All right. Oh hell, I'm about to sneeze. Okay, let's reopen this and cool. All right. Yes, please reopen those. Here, file, open level. Oh, right. Everything was in here, wasn't it? Yeah. Right on. So my computer has been running just a tad slowly this morning. I'm not sure if it was downloading updates or what. I heard rumors of some internet issues from some neighbors the past week, so that might be it as well. So anyway, I'm working on Unreal development on a procedurally generated dungeon. Let's give this a shot and see if I can at least see the dungeon. We'll make sure we go to here. Okay, that worked. And then here. All right, cool. Yep. There it is. So I'm guessing what happened is the procedural generation system hit an endless loop, which is possible the way I've built it. It's extremely it's unlikely. I guess I can't really say extremely with that kind of emphasis that just happened. It is unlikely. I'd estimate the probabilities around 1%, which, to be honest, is still way too high, right? That means if you have 100 players playing, one of them is likely, very likely, it's very likely at least one of them will encounter this issue. So I do need to fix that eventually. I've just been putting it off. All right. So today, what I want to look at is this. Let's see. Oh, I don't even have it in here. Okay. So this is the project where I am developing this the dungeon. And once I got it at this point, you can migrate assets from one project to another. So I built this in a separate project to minimize dependencies, and then migrated this over to the actual game that's going to be using it. And now that I think about that, I need to open the full game project because there was an error. Let me see if I can find it. There was an error. Oh, we're still running. That I had to fix. And I believe it's right here. Spawn enemy. Spawn actor. Yeah, due to some subtle differences in the way the enemies were created in the other game, this process here didn't work. I had to add an additional attempt to, well, I had to add an attempt to cast this actor class reference to the master class of the enemy. And then on success, pass that over to here. So yeah, let me open that project instead, since it does have a few changes. This is fine. I'll continue my own development on this just out of curiosity. Maybe I'll make a simple hack and slash, something just for fun. But yeah, now that I remember, I did have that bug fix. So basically, I don't want to continue development on that project. Oh, which I think you cannot see. Yeah. So let me go ahead and get that one open. I sort of feel like oh, there it is. I forgot clicking on that with change it. I'm not in studio mode. Okay. Right on. Let's get this back over to here. And then here. What in the hell? Got it. So I guess you get to see me live, live messing with OBS. All right, that's cool. That's very cool. So we'll do this. Paste a reference. I'll bring that down to here. Name this to the desktop. Size looks good already. Okay, cool. So, nope, that is not what I wanted. Remove. Jesus. I recently reorganized all of my my OBS stuff. Paste reference. There we go. Down here, turn that off, turn that on. There we go. All right, cool. Glad that wasn't difficult at all. All right, so now I'm showing the desktop, which is fine. Right on. So we're going to go here. Boop. And maybe here. Unreal. All right, hang on a second. Mute that for a moment, just in case. Where is my... Ah, there we go. Okay. Oops. What do we got? Oh, good. My bot is finally working. It's been dead the past week or so. Content. Bring that back up. Already. Let's see, content. That's interesting. Fuck me. This is awesome. I'm so happy with how things are going right now. All right, Wrath. That's what I want to see. Let's do this. Right. What the fuck is this not showing? The game. It's here. What's going on? Let's do that. And this. Wow. Okay. I don't. What is going on? All right, that works. Okay. Content main. Content main. Oh, what in the world? Wow. Okay. Sorry. I don't know what my problem was. I don't know why I had such a issue with that. All right. So, here we are. Spawn enemy. Yeah. And let's see. Break weighted blueprint. There's my object. Okay. Oh, maybe this isn't where I had to make that change. Spawn actor. Well, I had to make a change like that. Perhaps. All right. Well, wherever it was, I had to do that. So, but it should be running now. Always treasure, rubble, enemy. What? Jesus Christ. Quit clicking shit, Patrick. Okay. Dungeon enemies. Dungeon enemies. Boss enemy at spawn. Okay. Spawn enemy at spawn point. Boom. Interesting. I really thought I had to do something right here. All right. Well, there's one way we can test it. You go away. Let's open the level. Yes. Okay. Before I open a level, I want to make sure there is a what is it called? Like level streaming or asset streaming or something or other. If it's enabled, then if it's either enabled or disabled, and if it's disabled and you open a new level, that new level is basically imported into the existing level, which is fucking crazy if you ask me, like why that would be the default, which can cause problems. If the thing is enabled, yeah, if it's like streaming is disabled, then opening a new level imports it instead of just replacing the existing level. And if streaming is enabled, then that does not happen, and opening a new level actually does replace the existing level. And I think it's whack, because the default, I think, is that streaming is disabled, which means your default level loading behavior is to import it into the existing level, which is absolutely bonkers. Absolutely bonkers way of setting up your default behavior. Liner, go, go. And this isn't even, this is just a test level. Let's do this. Can I just close a level? Nope. Doesn't look like it. Oh, no. All right. I don't remember what the setting is or how to check for it. And this is why I had wanted to set it up so it was showing my desktop, so that when I have to do something like pop over in Google searching or Google search, look up a file, or God forbid, ask ChatGPT something, you could see that. But I am pretty gun shy now about messing with OBS, since I just had all that problem a moment ago, which I shouldn't have. But I think it's my lack of familiarity. My current setup in OBS is drastically different from what I had before as far as my scenes go. It's a lot more powerful and a lot more versatile. So I'm really happy about that. I mean, I figured it out on my own, so it's not like I don't understand like what I've done. It's more that what I've done is applying knowledge that I've slowly been learning to create something radically different from what I had. So getting used to how it works now, because everything does now work a little bit different, but everything's a little different. So and clearly I don't have that stuff down real sharp yet, because of what I just ran into. All right, I tell you what, let's just do this. At the very least, I can at least figure out what I need to do. So if I have in fact messed up something on like the main level, I don't need to commit these changes, but I do need to figure out the changes. So I can go back later on and make the changes again once I figure out what to do. So here's what I've done. In order to test the level with our enemies, which are also still, everything's still in development. This is not even pre-alpha. After I imported the dungeon generator, we just wanted to see enemies in the level. They didn't need to actually be working or anything like that, but they needed to be there. So I dropped in a Navmesh and basically made it gigantic, ginormous, gargantuan. 500 meters by 500. It's really actually not that big. I don't know why Unreal defaults to centimeter as its basic unit, which is another dumb decision. Granted, I started in Unity where 1 meter is the default unit. You can use more, get more granular, but I'll be honest, having done both now, that just seems to make a lot more sense. Keeps the numbers more manageable too, and I'm not constantly converting. I think that's the biggest thing, is like, because who thinks in freaking centimeters, right? No, like 2 meters, the height of a person. All right, got it, right? That's 2 instead of 200. I got 50,000 over here, and I need to convert, like constantly look at that and go, all right, divide by 100 to get a reasonable number. Oh, okay, we're at 500 meters. Anyway, Unreal does it different. So I made a 500 by 500 meter cube We hit play. All right, so it is working. Oh, except there are no, where'd the enemies go? Oh, they're gone. Uh-oh. All right, let's drop in. Let's make sure there are enemies. Details. Here we go. All right, floor decor, wall decor, enemy control, enemy grunts. We do have 2 enemies selected. Let's go look at them. Yep. Skeleton with a scimitar and skeleton. He's actually carrying a pole arm, but that's fine. All right, so we got 2 of those guys. Leaders. We have 1 leader. That would be skeleton mage. We have no, oh, we do have a mini boss. Oh, I put in a skeleton mage. Okay. Alrighty. So I do have enemies defined. Let's see. I don't see anybody. Let's come over here. Oh, seam roots. Here we go. All right. Skeleton. They are in the game. Oh. Oh, shit. They're just really hard to see. Oh, okay, okay. Well, that's great, actually. All right, there he is. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Oh, there's another one. What's up, guys? All right, so fantastic. Now, spawning still needs work, and that's okay. I am a firm believer in working in, I don't want to say baby steps, but tiny steps. You know, step 1, well, what I was about to say is not going, it's going to conflict with that. But for example, we had the dungeon, and then getting the enemies in it. Step 1, literally get the enemies to appear in it. I'm not sure they are being randomly rotated or not. Let's see. Yeah, they are. Okay. So this sort of thing here is one thing I do need to fix. So this guy is standing inside a wall. So I need to fix that. But that's not what I'm going to do today. What I'm going to do is that... Why does the mage sword? All right, well, that's fine. Doesn't have the greatest posture, does he? Okay. Yeah. Scimitar. Show me you. That is not a scimitar. Okay. It doesn't matter. I'm not doing enemies. I'm not making the enemies. And that's not my circus and not my monkey. So I'm not going to worry about that. I just to make sure that for the enemies that do exist, when I put them in the dungeon, they appear. And so today I want to make them let's see if they move at all. Because I'm not sure this temporary solution I added even works. All right, so we do, oh, that is an attack. All right, so we can run. I love that. The default guy does not run. Okay, so one thing we have, we can fight. Ah, run away. Oh, shit. Get out of here with that crap. All right, cool. Oh, we got combos. Nice. Okay, so I see that they are spawning, and they are working in the sense that they are Like you can, oh shit. Oh, right. There's a stamina system. So they are working in the sense that you can go up, you can hit them, they will hit you back, and they will die. That's great. What they're not doing is they're not moving. So I don't like that mechanic. All right. So they aren't moving. I have this is weird. All right. Okay. I put a nav mesh in. Raycast nav mesh default. Okay. My understanding is that so there's a tutorial for Unreal out there where the guy builds a nice, it's a cute little procedurally generated dungeon, and some of what I'm doing here is based on what he explains in that tutorial. Like that's kind of where I figured out how Unreal works so that I could build what I wanted. Now what he does once he's done generating his, well, as he gets in the tutorial where he gets to the part where it's like, okay, let's put enemies in now. He drops in a single nav mesh bounding volume. He does exactly what I've done here, which is why I did this, because I thought this would work as a temporary fix. And he just basically scales it up. Or he doesn't scale it up. He sets the size really large here so that the enemies can move around, and it just covers everywhere that the dungeon's going to be generated. That's not a very good way to do it, but it is a quick and easy way to get you up and running with something simple. And if your dungeon is always going to be, if you constrain the size to always be within the box, maybe that's good enough. I want a solution a little more robust, because I don't think it's going to be, I don't think I'm going to be able to reliably say all dungeons will fit inside this certain volume. I certainly don't have any code to enforce that. And even if I say, okay, we'll just make it so that the dungeon always has less than 20 rooms or whatever, the way it's generated, oops, here we go. If you have, like, I have hallways, right? So if you get a bunch of hallways in a row, you can easily extend out past that volume. And then some of the rooms are also, some of the special rooms are also pretty big. So in order to say, like, oh, if you constrain the dungeon to this many rooms, to force it to stay within a certain volume, the volume's still going to have to be pretty big. So I don't want to do that. And my understanding is I can put a separate nav mesh in each of these room elements. And then once it's the dungeon is created, I can call something to kind of tell the game, all right, everything's where it is. Figure it out. So I'm going to try that today. So let's go to the, here, the dungeon itself. And oh, wait. Sorry, this is really new territory for me, so I'm going to be fumbling around a lot, and I apologize for that. But that's just, I mean, that's just game development sometimes. So what I'm going to do in order to keep my test simple, all right, this is a basic intersection. So what I want to do is I basically want to make the dungeon only use the intersections because I only want to modify the intersection while I'm testing. Now, one thing I could do is just delete all these other room entries, clear out all the special rooms, clear out the, yeah, that would be it. But I don't want to do that because I put these in there and set some of the numbers, specifically the weight, and assign the actual room. I really don't want to get rid of all that. I also don't want to just change all the weights. So what I'm going to do, this is not going to be a perfect solution, but I'm just going to massively increase the weight here so that it will still be possible to get some of this other stuff, but hopefully it will not be terribly likely. Cavern intersection, and then I think let's find, that's a statue room, a split level, and a chasm. Oh, these. So what I'm looking for now is room control, probability of special room. Here we go. I will set this to I realize now what I probably should have done was have an enable special rooms Boolean so that I could set the probability and still toggle it on and off for development. Yeah. I think I'm going to do that. All right, here we go. Special room. I'm going to add that right now. Shuffle the room list. All right, so spawning people. Spawn. Oh, okay, that's where, right. Spawning people. Shuffle the room list so they can be iterated. Oh, that's for spawning the people. Okay. How many rooms will receive enemy? Oh. Oh, of course. Here we go. Generate dungeon rooms. Room generation. All right, room generation is basically all the private data. Blueprints, and then control is all the public data for controlling how it spawns. So here we go. We'll add. Excuse me. All right, we'll add one here. We're going to add a variable. All right, enable special room. Special rooms, just like that. And it is in fact a Boolean, yes. I also want it to be visible. Come over here. And the category is going to be room control. Boop. There we go, cool. I would prefer it to be above that. Is there an order? Can I move it? Reorder. Yeah. Oh, sweet. Woohoo. Awesome. Compile. Save. Sweet. All right, cool. Now we're going to drop down into here. Beep, beep, beep. And, oh, this mess. I'm not proud of it. Spawn the main entrance. Ugh. All right, mandatory rooms. Main entrance. Yeah, it's fine. How many rooms to spawn for the dungeon? Periodic attempt to place special rooms. Okay. Special rooms are not guaranteed. All right, so here's what we're going to do. This is the probability of spawning a room. I believe. No, this is probability of special room. This is the periodic check for the room, and then this is the probability. Of right, so we only check. So there's a 60% chance of a special room spawning when there's an opportunity to spawn a room, which is only every few rooms. Okay, and then this is, we only do it on the first room, and then what we really ought to do, because I don't know if this leverage is short-circuiting or not, but if we assume that it does, then what we're going to do is simply pull this out, get, and can we add a pin above? No. Jesus. All right. So we're going to move these. Oops, wrong button. There we go. All right, we're going to bring you over here. I'm going to connect that there. So special rooms must be enabled in the first place in order to be used. Makes sense? Where do you go? You go... Oh, I see. I failed to grab him. All right, there we go. Pull you there. It's still a little bit messy, but we can slide you back, which means we can slide you back, which lets us slide you back. We can bring you down to here. Bring this one here, and even got a compliment on my organization the other day, which is nice. I am a firm believer in organized code, and I'm also a firm believer in, like, it's cheesy to say lead by example, but setting a good example, right? Because I think a lot of people, especially aspiring programmers, don't really know any better as far as keeping code organized. I think a lot of aspiring developers, from my experience, right, they may have heard, oh, keep your code organized, or write clean code, or comment your stuff. Like, they've heard these things, but they don't really appreciate why bother, right? It's just for me, or I don't care, I know what this does, or even like, well, you can just read it, see what it does. And I think until you really see what well organized code looks like, you don't really realize how beneficial it is to be able to like just what a difference it makes. Like, to be able to look at it and be like, holy shit, I can see immediately what's going on. I can follow the logic. Like, I can visually follow the logic. Like, oh, okay. And because it's things are, they're grouped in comments, and the lines are, you know, they got little pins to organize them out, and you can just see it, and you'd be like, wow, I see what's going on. Like, here, like, I can clearly tell there are different steps. Like, we're gonna do a bunch of stuff, but there's a there's a process here, right? And I think until you see that as a developer, it can be really hard to understand the value of it. Like here, you can visually see there's a flow. Like we've got some decision making going on. Boom, decisions made, and then we're doing looks like almost the exact same thing or the exact same thing. That's not terribly clear, and I'm not proud of this part, but still you can see we've got more decisions going on, and then from both of these they come out and it looks like we maybe some sort of abort, and then we continue on here, we do some stuff, and then we do some stuff, and boom, we're done there, and then we continue on and we do all this. So it's a lot more clear to read than, or like even like here, especially the smaller stuff. I think it's more impactful. But you see it, and then you're like, oh, okay, and I see we got this one thing. It's getting piped into that, this. All right, this could look a lot more messy and be a lot more confusing to look at. Like this to me is not really that confusing. Like I'm like, okay, I got the base enemy blueprint. All right, I'm setting the actor of that enemy. Okay, that's this guy here. It's like we're gonna hit the thing's location. Okay, and then it looks like all right, we're gonna use X, Y, and then we're gonna get scaled cap so I have height. So we're offsetting it by its height so that it's standing on the floor. Okay. And so you can sort of process each piece individually. And like, I'm not worried, like I'm not trying to hold all this in my brain at once. And I'm just, it's a logical flow to understanding it. Like, yeah, all right. So whatever the thing we spawn, we're spawning it. We're going to bump it up so it's not spawning in the floor. And then what else are we doing? Oh, and then we're adding it to the array. Okay, this array of enemies. So it's very easy to see, but I've seen less complicated things than this written in a way or created in a way that's not even remotely organized. So when you look at it, even something as simple as this here, just you look at it and you're like, what the fuck is going on here, right? So I think it's good, even if this was only for me, to keep my own stuff organized, because then when other people do see it, they see not only what good looks like, right, as far as organization, but because they're looking at organized code, they feel it. Like you can feel like, oh, this is super handy, right? Which was kind of the reaction. Well, yeah, basically the reaction that I got the other day when someone was looking at my code and they were like, wow, this is really easy to understand. And then you realize like, oh, there's a genuine tangible benefit to organizing your code, whether it's this kind of code or actual text source code. So that was a really nice experience. And honestly, I don't, the person who said this, I hopefully it doesn't come across disparagingly, because I'm not disparaging them at all. I appreciate that they said something to me about it, and I'm glad that it worked, like that they liked it. It was just really nice, and to me, it also it brought home to me like how important it is just to, yeah, here we go. Let's default it to on, just to see the process work, because like I have faith that the process works, that you know, leading by example or using good organization, even when you quote, I mean, you don't have to, you know, never ever, but you should. So it was really nice to actually get to see the other side of that. Someone sees it and goes, oh wow, that was so easy to understand. Like, yay, cool. That's one more person out there now who, even if they don't start doing it this way, they at least appreciate it, right? Because I think, yeah, when you're aspiring developer or a new developer or I won't say inexperienced, but Even a lot of very experienced developers. Well, no, I don't want to overstep. I don't want to over speak about something I don't know firsthand. Um, Many of the developers I have ever worked with, which have ranged from like kind of brand new, like SE1s, up to very experienced senior developers who have a lot more like career length than even I than I do. Right? I don't say even I, like I have so much, but because I know I'm like in the middle, but more than me, like the vast majority of them that I have seen um, do not organize their code well, and in some cases it's a lack of experience. I think in other cases it's a lack of appreciation for the value that it really has. Because like almost every engineer I've ever worked with has been like, oh yeah, it's important. Right? Code documentation, code commenting, organized code, it's all important. But there we go, sweet. But very few actually do it. So anyway, moving on. So this is what I wanted to do by simply disabling that. Yeah, it also makes it, if you'll notice, it also makes it really, really crazy easy to modify, as I was able to make those changes super quick. Just add that one boolean in there, figure out where it goes, and boom, done. As opposed to having to trace spaghetti. So anyway, enough about that. I droned on about that way more than I meant to. Yeah. So now I have to close all this, close that, close the doors, floors, all that I don't care about. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, since the reason I did that is because I want to focus on a single dungeon part. And that's going to be that intersection. This guy here. A standard intersection. Awesome. Yep. Which is this guy here. So let's open you, viewport. All right, cool. So let me go look up. So now I'm out of the application. This is why I wanted to show my desktop and not just Unreal, but it is what it is. All right, what's going on? Cool. Oh my goodness, what is going on? Okay. I just got an update actually from the team that this of this game, but it is not relevant here. All right, weird. We live in such a lovely time. Looks like there's some identity fraud going on. Not by the team, people, someone impersonating a team member, trying to accomplish things with other team members. I don't know. All right. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the information I looked up about the Navmesh stuff. So it is a Navmesh bounds volume object that I need to add to each of the pieces. So you, here. All right, nav mesh. Okay, well, we have our first problem. I did not expect not to find it. Let's go back over here. Nav mesh bounds volume. So yeah, this is the thing. I thought I could add one of these to each of the here. Nope. Nav link. Okay, well that completely undermines everything I thought I was going to do today. Let's see here. Add one nav mesh bound volume per dungeon piece. All right, let's see here. Going back to, I hate to say this, but I'm going back to a conversation I had with ChatGPT to get some information, which I fully understand how unreliable that is. And it's so painful because it's always so damn wrong. Hi, sweetie Lou. You always come visit me when I'm talking. So nice. All right, let's see. Can I want to show them? I'm not sure if I want to show this because I tend to yell at ChatGPT a lot. I'm not very nice to it. I'm nice to it when it's being helpful. Let's see. Let's see. Nav mesh bounds on you object available. All right, so I've just told it the nav mesh bound volume object, which like I had this massive discussion to figure out how to do this. And oh, fuck me. Okay, so it's saying yes, the nav mesh bound volume object is not available as a component inside a blueprint. You have to spawn it in runtime. Jesus. Which is in direct conflict with what it told me prior, which is the reason I always end up yelling at ChatGPT because I'm like, dude, get your fucking shit straight. Okay. All right, let's try it. Nav mesh bounds volume has to. No. All right. So I can't add one at runtime. Add. Oh, maybe it's like this. Add actor. Like kitties are playing. Add child actor component. Sure. Actor object reference. I don't have an actor object reference. What about add component? No, that doesn't work. What is a cluster? I don't know. Bounce. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's just component. Get. No. Component has tag. Timeline. And there's no, I can't just do add component, right? Unless I want to add it to the cluster, whatever cluster is. Components. Oh, shit. Add component. All right, procedural mess, sprite, tick, timeline, events. That's it, huh? Pawn, no. All right. What changed? Changed anything? Close? Oh, no. Fuck. All right. I do wish there was a straightforward way to disregard changes. But I don't know how. I'm not sure there is a way. There should be a way, but I'm not sure there is. All right, compile, whatever. All right, run. All right, cool. There are all our little enemies. Okay. This is one of our exits. This is the main entrance. Yep. Another exit. And another. So these are the two exits back to where you entered from. And this is the exit to the next realm. And then this is the boss room. Whoa, shit. There we go. Okay. Spawn the Navmesh bound volume actor at runtime. Use spawn actor Navmesh bounds volume. All right. I don't think that's working. I'll try it. Spawn actor. Spawn actor. I suppose it's also possible this may not be where I do that. Spawn out. Oh, here we go. Blueprint. Wind of Death. Oh. Spawn actor settings. Get set. Utilities. Casting. Let's just do this. Spawn. Spam. Oh my goodness. Spawn actor. Okay. Use spawn actor Navmesh bounds volume object in the level blueprint or your dungeon manager blueprint. What you cannot do, you cannot add a Navmesh bounds volume as a child component of a blueprint. Navigation volumes are world-only actors, not components. Yes. Okay, I believe, whoops, wrong button. I believe I believe I understand that. But there's a volume, there's a Navmesh bounds. I thought there was another part. nav. Maybe this is what I was thinking of. So you got that. Raycast Navmesh. So one, I thought you added to Raycast Navmesh. Yeah, so what I thought was one, you add to each component or to each blueprint, like here, and I would scale it out to enclose the floor here. And I thought that was this one, a Navmesh balance volume. And then once they're all spawned, I go back to here, my event graph, and basically after generating dungeon rooms, basically here, right here, I would then tell this to update itself or rescan existing assets or something. And then it would say, okay, find all the Navmesh bound volume objects that are spawned, each attack to an actor, and bake them all together or something like that. I thought that's what I was going to do. But it doesn't seem to be how it works. So once again, I've been lied to. After spawning the dungeon piece, immediately spawn actor Navmesh bounds volume and set its box extent based on the piece's dimension. And like I said, I didn't just like drop a question in and just take the answer. Like I go around a lot, which is why I hate ChatGPT. I still use it, but it's like Googling. You Google stuff and get tons of shit results, but the better you get at using it, the better your results get. There's still shit there, but you know. Anyway, after spawning the piece, okay, so maybe this is too soon. Maybe the construction script is too soon. Okay. All right, generate dungeon rooms. Drop down into here. Determine how many rooms. Okay, so then down here, for the number of rooms, attempt to spawn a special room, attempt to spawn a normal room. So this is, right, the two routes I was looking at earlier. Check the room, delete it if it overlaps anything, enforce your spawn limits, check your adjacency conditions. What is this? It's just a random. Read the value of variable. Why is it like this? Toggle comment button. Oh. Shouldn't that be? Where's the header? That's so weird. Create room. All right, well, whatever. It's working. I don't even know how I would get that there, but that's fine. Oh, wait a second. This is connected. This is a set. This should be a get, but it's not connected to anything. Wait a second. That is concerning. Okay. Well, that's really concerning. Created room metadata enable self-adjacency. I think that is not right. All right. Well, moving on. That's on the problem solving right now. And I'm honestly not too worried about it. The whole point of what that's doing there is to keep you from getting the exact same room right next to each other. And from the dungeons that the generator's been producing, that doesn't seem to be a really big problem. So I'm not going to worry about that for now. Manage the list of exits, hide the room's entrance arrow, preserve a reference to the room. All right, so at this point, and then call initialize on the room. Okay. Boom. So this is the room creation, and then down here, mandatory rooms. We have normal rooms. We have special rooms, and we have mandatory rooms. Yep. So this this row here is, row here is actually all doing kind of the similar as what these two are. Yeah, I'm not. This is some of my ugliest code. Hide the room entrance. Preserve, yeah, okay, and then initialize. Right on. Okay, so oh my god. Excuse me. All right, so what I'm gonna do. Branch here. This is a loop body. Right. So for every however many rooms we want, we're going to do this loop. All of this is actually the loop body. All right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to build off of here, figure out what I need to do, and once I've got that done, I'll grab it, pop it into a function, call that function here, and then that way I can also call that function here at the end of the mandatory room spawn, because that's also in a loop. Okay, that's the plan. So that being said, can I add actor? I don't think I care about transformations. Add actor to layer. I think this is just yeah. Target. Yeah, mesh. This is casting. These are the same options I had in the other place, the other object. I don't think this is right. All right, content. Alrighty. Let's see. All right, let's do some actual old-fashioned Googling. Let's see here. Unreal. L2. Add Navmesh. Runtime. Go. And yeah, this is quite common when you're trying to figure out when you're working on a game. Is you're only going to know so much. So there's always going to be things you have to look up. Create Navmesh at runtime. All right, let's see what this has to say. All right, see now this is in conflict. So here's what I found. Someone's asking, they want to create a procedurally generated world using a nav mesh and nav invokers. Okay, I don't know what that is. That's good to know. I never even heard that term before, so that's something to keep in mind. And they've run into a problem where they're using a single nav mesh and it's too damn big, right? Which is a terrible way to do it. So they want to know a better way. Someone has responded, include a nav mesh with the generation of your procedural objects. Don't be afraid to let them overlap. That's fine. Okay. And that's what I was trying to do. This comment is from 2023. It's 2 years ago. And then the response. Thank you, but I can't seem to spawn the nav mesh volume at runtime in a blueprint, which is the problem I ran into. So far, I'm feeling good. I at least was on a reasonable track, and even someone else gave the advice that I followed to do what I was trying to do. So let's see here. So this person, I can't seem to do that. Should I try to do it in C++? That's not an option for me because I don't want to. I don't want to be writing code for this. So far, everything is in the node system. I want to keep everything in the node system. Because as soon as I start writing custom code, like creating custom nodes and stuff, it's going to undermine the confidence of anyone looking at this in the future to know, like, to know what they're looking at. Like, whether is this a node or is this like some custom thing that the previous author, me, wrote. And once you start questioning that, then it becomes a lot harder to troubleshoot because am I seeing a weird behavior because like if I see a weird behavior in a certain spot, like is this a bug? Is it by design? Is it did I find an actual quirk in or a bug in Unreal, which is uncommon, but it's not impossible, you know? Or is this a bug or quirk in custom code that the previous author wrote? So it introduces another variable into troubleshooting. So I want to avoid that. All right, so the person's asked, right? And then they're clarifying that basically they are doing exactly what I want to do. And the response is you need to use a dynamic nav mesh. You need to use a dynamic nav mesh. And then there's some cautions about you're doing it wrong, which you can't just use a single nav mesh and scale it up, which, yes, we know. And then they reiterate you need to use multiple nav meshes, which has already been established, and we know that. So, oh my God. Personers. Oh, kitty. So they reply, I already have a dynamic nav mesh. Tried to split one big nav mesh into parts, but it seems like it doesn't help. Then they responded, they followed up, I tweaked some raycast nav mesh settings. So this doesn't say what they did. That's just not. The Unreal and the OBS icons are both black circles with a white thing in the middle and a white outline. And granted, the symbol in the middle is different, but at first glance, they look the same. So I'm constantly clicking the wrong one. Okay. So this person, they said they already have a dynamic nav mesh. All right, what is a dynamic nav mesh? Is that not this? How would I find that? Doggone it. All right. I doubt it's a window. All right. Dynamic. Not in there. Dynamic. Hey, sweetie. Not in there. Dynamic. Nope. Oh, maybe it's an actor. Dynamic. Nope. Okay. Dynamic. No. Damn it. Alrighty. Oh, sweetie. Okay, my cat is hungry. I'm gonna go feed her, and then I'll be back. So I'll take a short break. I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. I just discovered uh I just discovered Pan Pan sitting in the living room watching TV, which is funny because I didn't turn the TV on. I don't know how the TV got turned on. Lulu, what you doing? My goodness. All right. I also, while I was feeding them, remembered a conversation that I had with one of the programmers about how to do this. And she also said the same thing that I did, or that I've been trying to do. So, um, so I'm pretty confident that I'm on the right track, and it's really just user error. I don't know what I'm doing. So, but it does seem to be because yes, I remember several weeks ago when I first there was a discussion in the Discord for the game project, and um, and we were talking about how like what I was going to do to regarding the Navmesh stuff. I was like, "This is my plan." She's like, "That's a great plan." All right, Nav. Oh, Nav. So what I'm thinking now is, can I? How do I find the Navmesh bound? Like, if I didn't have one of those Navmesh bound volumes, where would that even be found? Nav. Oh, huh. Nav. Pilot. Move the selected actor around using viewport controls and bind viewport to the actor's location. Okay, I don't know about that. How did I add this? Because this was not part of the project when I imported it. I added this. I remember adding it. Just don't remember how. Ooh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Nav. Aha. This is how I added it. All right. One step closer. Dynamic. Ooh. A dynamic mesh actor. Dynamic mesh actor. It's an editor only subclass of dynamic mesh actor. Oh, it generated dynamic mesh. Okay. Provides support for dynamic procedural generation of meshes. That's okay. That's not what I want. It's not the mesh. Okay. Now this person say I already have a dynamic nav mesh, and they were running into issues trying to split it. How do I? All right, let's add. All right, Unreal. How to dynamic nav mesh. All right. Oh, this is how to optimize. Dynamic navigation mesh. AI. Unreal Engine. This is from 2015. So, whoops, 11 years ago. I'm sure it's very current. This is one of the challenges I have found working with Unreal compared to Unity. Because their origins are different. Unreal was like, it came from a AAA game and became a standalone engine for building games, right? Whereas Unreal was built from the ground up. So Unreal's history is that like there's currently a free version you can get to build with, but it didn't used to be because where it came from, it used to always be a premium product. You had to pay for it, which means the only people that used it were studios or like game development enthusiasts with willing to pay the license fee or whatever. Whereas Unreal was Unity came from the ground up, was built from the ground up with the intent of being free to anyone, and then it was only if your game started generating revenue that you had to pay for a license for the utility for the tool. And it's still that Unity is still like that, and it's something like the threshold is $100,000. So until your game is making over $100,000 per year in profit, you don't have to pay for Unity. Consequently, hobbyists and enthusiasts and aspiring game developers that didn't have thousands of dollars to shell out for an Unreal license just to see if they could make a living as a game developer flocked to Unity, which means there are a lot of tutorials available for Unity. But because Unreal was so limited in its user base, basically only AAA game studios or individuals with a lot of money to throw around were using it. So the number of people is just orders of magnitude smaller. So the material for tutorials and all that is also much smaller because you just don't have as many people. Your population of people using it is just so much smaller. There, if it's only 1% of 1% of 1% of people motivated enough to make a tutorial for something, Unity's population of users is so massive that still meant there were a lot of people making tutorials, and Unreal's population of users is so small that it meant almost no one's making tutorials, and the tutorials that are getting made for Unity are far more diverse than the tutorials made for Unreal, because most Unreal tutorials that I have seen are just copies of each other. Here's how to make a door, it's just all the basic stuff, some of which I'm pretty sure shipped with Unreal. So this is one of the challenges I have found working with Unreal, is the available material for help. Just is so much, it's such a smaller corpus. It's crazy. So this being, well, in 2023, this person's talking about a dynamic nav mesh. All right, here's something from 2020. Dynamic nav mesh with nav modifiers only, Unreal. So look at that. Okay. This is about if you have something moving through your, like an obstacle moving through your nav mesh, and you don't want your agents to try and path through it. Okay. That is a good thing to know. That's not what I'm looking for. How to make the nav mesh balance volume dynamic. Yes, this is what I want. This is from 2022. All right, let's see what this has to say. Hi guys, I wonder if there's a way to make the Navmesh balance volume dynamic. I've created a mini elevator that goes up and down, but it seems like the Navmesh balance volume can't cover the space where the elevator runs. So what he wants to do is enable things to path onto the elevator and then off again. The elevator platform's not always there. I see. There is a setting in project settings under navigation mesh to make mesh generation dynamic, which will allow you to use moving meshes as part of your navigation. Okay, at first glance, I would say this is probably not what I want. At second glance, however, I'm going to say the term moving in Unreal seems to have a little bit broader of a scope than what I'm used to it meaning. Because I think in Unreal, things are movable if they are created, if they can be created, or even if they just change at runtime. Like when I made the lights for the fire, if I come down here, so this sphere here is changing shape. And that's actually the illumination cast by the light. Same over here with the torch, right? See how it's flickering on the wall? That's because the light's radius is changing shape. And in order to do that, I had to make the light movable. Even though it's not moving, it's just changing shape. So what this article is talking about may be what I need to do. I'm a little concerned that it's a project setting though, because in that it's going to affect nav meshes for other things like our overworld. But let's go take a look at project settings. Not there. Project settings. You don't see that because boop, there we go. All right. Maps and modes. No. Packaging. No. Asset manager, tools, data engine. Mesh budget. Oh. Stats, nav mesh. There we go. Display. I don't think I need display. Tile generation debug. I don't think I need that. Okay. Generation. Fixed tile pool size. I don't even know what that means. Nav mesh resolution parameters. All right. Agent radius. Agent height. Max slope. All right. So this is why I'm hesitant to make any changes in here, because these are global, right? It's a project setting. That means everything's going to be affected the same way. If I suddenly decide that to make my enemies work, I need to double the agent radius size, it's going to affect everything. That's terrible. All right, what do we got going on here? Jesus. Okay. Alrighty. Sort nav areas by cost. Oh, advanced query. Oh, I see. Okay, so all this is under advanced. This will be clearer if this line extended down. That's a UI issue on Unreal's part, though. Okay. Max jobs. No. LRF. Origin offset. No. Region layer partitioning. Chunk splits. Voxels. Low height area. Okay. Low span sequences. Okay. None of that looked relevant. Query. Runtime. Force rebuild on load. So that's what by default, navigation will skip the first update after being successfully loaded, setting Boolean force rebuild on load to false can override this behavior. Oh, okay. That's a very technical explanation that tells me nothing. Like, I understand every word in there, and I even understand, like, okay, so first update after being loaded, the default navigation is skipped. Yeah, this tells me nothing. Okay, auto destroy when no navigation, runtime generation. It's already dynamic. Fully dynamic supports geometry changes along with navigation modifiers. What is a modifier? Okay, well, so the good news is setting is already where I need it to be. So, or at least I think I need it to be. So, yay. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'll tell you, too many things demanding attention these days. All right. So setting that to dynamic allows you to have moving nav meshes. So for your elevator. Okay. That's actually not what I need. All right, and the rest of that thread is related to the person going, I made the change you recommended, and now I have other problems. All right, so let's back out of that. Overview of how to modify the navigation mesh in Unreal. Is that what I want? Fully dynamic nav mesh and navigation invokers. I don't even know what a nav mesh. Oh shit! What's an invoker? Okay. So it looks like navigation. You know what? I'm not even going to try. I don't know. I don't know what invokers are. But it looks like another form of dynamic mesh is a mesh that's, say, like split into tiles from what I just saw. And like, say your character's in the middle. Say your character is in the middle, right? And then there's a, say, a bunch of tiles around, and maybe only the tile that the character's on is on, and all the adjacent tiles are like active for navigation. And then as the character moves away, the tiles that are further away become inactive, and the tiles that have now become adjacent become active. I don't know why you would do that, or what the benefit would be. I can sit here and speculate, but it's not relevant. That's not what I'm trying to do. So moving on. But that seems to be another term, that another thing or behavior that people are calling it dynamic nav mesh. And granted, it does fit, but that's not what I'm trying to do. Optimizing navigation mesh generation speed. All right. I'm not at optimizing the speed yet, but I do want to generate it. So maybe this will tell me how to generate it. All right, the nav system provides. Yeah, I know what that is. Find a path, use a nav mesh, right? Which is generated from the collision geometry of the world. It's divided into tiles, which are used to build localized parts of the navigation mesh at runtime. Oh, okay, so, right. Shit. Nope. This is just talking about cell size of the nav mesh. Okay, that's not what I need. So what they're calling nav mesh generation, I would have called, well, or Unity calls nav mesh baking, and that's where you analyze the scene, find the walkable areas based on your parameters of like if you have a big, like say an oddly shaped room, like a triangle, right? You'll divide internally it'll be divided into destination points. They call them cells, right? And so the size of that destination points depends how many will fit in there and how granular, say, an NPC agent could be to get in there. So when they talk about this article, it's talking about mesh generation. So that process of finding the area that an NPC can get to based on the walkable size of the cells or whatever, Unity calls baking, because you figure all that out, and then you can just save the data. You don't have to figure it out every time you play the game. And they're calling that generation. So, okay. So there's some, kind of like learning another language. You got similar ideas, but they use different words for it. Okay, the nav mesh modifier, it looks like, allows you to change the nav mesh and its cost for the AI to use. So that looks like if you had, like if you want the agent to path, say, from grass across the road and then to grass on the other side, you might be able to specify, like in Unity, you could say, all right, this area, the cost is 3 points of effort, call it whatever, to move across the road, but it's 5 when you're in the grass. And I don't actually know if Unity could dynamically change that or not, but it looks like here you could. So like maybe say it snowed. So you could say like add 2 to everything, right? So then it's 7 in the grass and 5 on the road. So all right. Also not what I want. Not what I'm looking for. How to build nav mesh or dynamically sized procedural level. Okay, this sounds promising. This is from 11 years ago. Awesome. Oh, Oh, this is not reassuring. Okay, now this is from 11 years ago, so maybe it's changed. But this person says, I had a quick look at the code, and it seems we don't support runtime navigation bounds scaling. Here are some things you can do. And the first thing they suggest, have one big volume encompassing the whole possible generated level space, which is a terrible fucking idea. Terrible suggestion. Oh, absolutely horrible. Terrible. Okay, that's one idea. Or you can expose Unreal Navigation System on navigation bounds updated and call it with the scaled agent nav mesh. I guess it's agent. I don't know. A nav mesh bounds volume. This should work, but I'm not 100% sure it will work. Or, third choice, you could try streaming a nav mesh bounds volume in. Not sure if it will work since we don't use this approach internally. Oh, that's not reassuring. That's not reassuring. All right, let's see. So I guess that's someone who worked at Unreal. And then the response was, I went ahead and exposed U navigation system on navigation bounds updated, which was the second suggestion, and called it from my level generator blueprint. Once I changed the navigation bound volume to movable, it worked. Okay. I should mention that the function has a comment on it that says if it's going to be used at runtime, then it should probably be optimized. And it does take a little bit to generate at game start. All right. That part's not a big deal because we only need to do it when we load this level. And if we have a loading screen, we can delay. We can block or hide that, which is really common in games. So that's not a big deal at all. And then the Unreal representative responded, there's not much performance to be gained in your use case. Building a nav mesh once on level load can go with what's currently there. You do it once and you're fine for the rest of the level. If you wanted to use this in a frequent rebuilding scenario, then it could use more attention. Okay. So that's just talking about the optimization. So I went ahead and exposed U navigation system on navigation bounds updated and called it from my level generator blueprint. Now the notation they're using suggests they're talking about C++ code. On navigation bounds updated. But I don't know for sure because sometimes this notation is used regardless of whether the discussion is about blueprints or code. So let's see dungeon enemies. Okay, so dungeon rooms here. I'm just going to do it up here because it's cleaner. Damn it. What else? All right. On navigation bounds updated. This is the event graph for blueprint. On nav. Hey. Cool. All right. Cool. Target is navigation system v1. Nav mesh bounds volume object reference. Okay. you know, I think I'm going to do this. As a matter of fact, okay, so I was going to say I'll do it after the doorways, and then I see statues. Those should block navigation. So then I was going to say, oh, I'll do it after all this. I think I'm just going to give it its own separate row. I don't know. All right, you know what? Let's stick with the original plan here. And then how do you get I don't know, scene reference? How do you get something from the scene? I know you can do that. Let's see. See all. Okay. Let's see. Blueprint. Graph. Get reference to item in scene. I find things like ChatGPT and all that, the more specific or the smaller the problem you're trying to solve, the higher the quality and the higher the accuracy of the answer. Ah, here you go. Select the actor in the level. Oh, no, wait. But that does remind me, isn't it get actor from level? Something like that? Get actor. And because I've done it elsewhere, not many times, and I can't remember where, but it's something like generate dungeon rooms event. This is here. Oh, that's where. Okay, right. Yeah, something like if you want to get the player, you use like get something, get player controller. Okay, not yeah. There is that specifically, but I thought there was a more generic one. Player index, no. Get pawn. Get act. That's what I just tried, right? Get actor. Get actor of class. No. Get all actors with tag. Maybe. Get all child actors. Get attached parent. No. Get owner, lifespan, parent. Get actors perception. Oh, that's cool. Animation cable. Class. Oh, I thought that said important task. Alrighty. Let's see. Oh, I just realized. I just remembered. I don't think OBS captures these little pop-up windows that I'm looking at. How boring. All right. That's definitely not it. Isn't there get level? Oh, well. Yeah, there's that. Target is actor. Get level. Return value, level object reference. Set the actor, select the actor in the level. All right, we're going to follow these directions and see what happens. Boop. And then in the details panel, expose to level blueprint. All right. expose. I hate you. I hate you, ChatGPT. One selected in convert actor. No. Can be damaged. Lifespan. Spawn collision. Try to adjust location. Don't spawn if still colliding. I don't think so. Find camera component. Can be in cluster. I wonder what that means. Layers and tags. Brush settings. Oh. Oh, there we go. All. Fix collision underneath for Navmesh. If set, Navmesh will not be generated under the surface of the geometry. Oh. I feel like these might be generic settings for everything. Yeah. It doesn't make sense for the Navmesh itself, I don't think. But yeah. Collision. Yeah, I think these are general. Cooking. Is editor only actor? No. Replication, networking, actor. Oh, this is what we were just looking at. On camera, cluster, yeah. All right. Mobile, ray tracing, asset user data, level instance. No. Oh my God. I'm fucking so tired of yawning. Jesus. All right. None of that was what I needed, which is frustrating. All right. In the details panel, find exposed to level blueprint, shown as a little arrow icon. Click the arrow. Details. Details. I didn't see any little arrow icon. No details. Yes, details. Oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. There we go. What about this? Holy crap. Someone tell me, what is the physiological mechanism that triggers a yawn? Something more than when you're tired. Because sometimes I just fucking yawn and I'm not tired. I certainly don't think I'm tired. Maybe I'm so fucking tired all the time that I can't tell anymore. I mean, maybe that's it, but damn, if somebody knows, just tell me. You know, maybe is it like if I sit a certain way and I'm not getting enough air, so I yawn? I've kind of heard that before. I don't know if it's true or not, but the bit about the air, not the way I'm sitting, but if the air thing is true, then I suppose if I'm sitting hunched over, I may not be breathing well, and then the air thing, like the body be like, oh, yawn, like now. But I'm getting really fucking annoyed at yawning so much. All right, these pop-ups, these tooltips are annoying as hell too. Recast, Navmesh, default. What do we got? Display. I doubt it's anything to do with display. Generation. Tile side, UU. Oh, that's another thing that bugs me. UU. That's an Unreal unit, which is a fucking centimeter. But I wonder, you can change what the default unit is, and I haven't because this is a team project, and I know nobody else has done that, and I'm not going to try and suggest a large team change the same thing and keep it changed from default, because we have a pretty, I don't say high turnover, but like we're constantly onboarding people, so that's just one more thing that could get messed up by human error. Someone forgetting to make the change or whatever. So that's 10 meters. Navmesh resolution parameter. Oh, I already saw these. Oh, and I saw those in the project settings. Okay. That's interesting. So the project settings copied to here? Are these independent or are these the same values? I do 36. Whoops. Yeah, fuck, where's that? There it is. No. Fuck me. Shit. You. Oh, wait. I was looking at this. Oh, wait. Agent radius. File. Edit. Project settings. Nav. System. Navmesh. Agent radius. Oh, interesting. This is 34. This was 35. I changed it to 36. So is this the default information that is used when you place a recast nav mesh object in the scene and they're copied? Or are they global settings? I thought they were global settings. If they're if they're default, that would make a lot more sense. That's what I would expect from a form like a AAA game development engine or a game management engine whose roots are from AAA development. However, Unreal has already surprised me more than once by not doing the thing that I think makes the most amount of sense. So I try not to assume anything these days. All navigation balance updated. Nav mesh balance object reference. Can I just like this? How the fuck do I get a reference? Oh, nav. Forms array cast. No. Enable. All right. I don't know how to get a fucking reference. Nav mesh balance volume object reference. Wait. Nav mesh balance object volume. So it's okay. It's not even this thing. It is this thing here, which I also already checked and didn't find anything. expose. Nothing. Right. This is great. I love this. Hey, ChatGPT, how do I do the thing? Oh, you want to find this switch. So right now, in the details panel, right, select the actor in the level. In the details panel, find exposed to level blueprint, shown as a little arrow icon. There's no exposed. Unreal 5.4 removed the old exposed to level blueprint arrow. It's now one of the following. And this is complete bullshit because I know I've had this conversation so many times. Open the level, create reference to. Is that the, okay, is that what I want? I don't need that. Create reference to. Nope, see? Yeah, see then it, so what it'll do, it'll tell you to do something initially. And if you go back and you say, like, step 1 of your 20-step process can't be done because it doesn't exist, it'll come back and go, oh, that doesn't exist anymore. Here's what you should do. And it'll give you 2 or 3 more options. And they're all completely fabricated. Problem is, it's really hard to track down. Okay, so here. All right, what was I trying to do? I mean, I'm gonna try it anyway, just because sometimes I get off on a tangent and maybe get lucky, but usually the thing it tells you to do, yeah, create reference is not. And I've got context sensitive off, so should appear. Let's try it again. Create reference. Yeah, there's nothing because it's saying, oh, you gotta select it here. Let's try this. Create reference. Yeah, so there's no create reference. Yeah. All right. Yeah, it's all bullshit. All bullshit. It's so frustrating. When ChatGPT first came out, it was at least somewhat helpful when you asked specific questions. And now, like, the only time you really got what I discovered when using it was if you ask a question, I'm in a blueprint in the event graph. How do I get a reference to the function on navigation palette updated, right? And it'll say, use this, right? And it'll tell you. So things that have like discrete, specific answers, it could tell you. Like it was helpful. But if you asked it something vague or something that like required some context or processing understanding, it was absolute shit at. And now it's degraded so that even things that have concrete answers, yes, no, or use this function, use that function, it can't even do that anymore. It's so bad. The best I can hope for is that it mentions a term that I haven't, like a new term, like create reference. So I can go and Google that. Maybe that'll help me find something. Let's do this. Unreal, create a reference. See what that says. How to create a soft reference. Oh, maybe that's what I need. How do I create how do I reference a component from one blueprint to another? So a lot of things will say, yeah, I'll go to the blueprint for the one thing and expose it, which is not helpful if one of the things you need the reference to is not a blueprint, like this thing. Navmesh balance volume with a movable mobility. Visibility. Well, this is just not going well today, which sucks. I've accomplished nothing. Now, as Edison would say, I think it was Edison, right? I haven't accomplished nothing. I've just found a lot of ways to not do what I'm trying to do. Which, yeah, fuck off. I've accomplished nothing. I don't have the kind of energy to be that positive. What if I do that? Give me a red complaining thing earlier. This blueprint is not, oh, because it says self. Oh. I'll bet you that's why. Yeah. Target. Navigation system V1 object. I don't even know if this is a navigation system V1 object. Place actor. All right, how to get reference to item in scene. From the level blueprint, select the actor in the viewport, open blueprints menu, then open level blueprint. I don't think that's what I want to do. From another, oh, I see. From another blueprint, non-level. Yes, that's what I want. Add a public variable. Okay. All right. Let me try. Get all actors with tag. Get all. Here we go. Get all actors of class. And then I want nav mesh bound volume. All right. And then I want the first one. First. This is a sound cue thing. Does it work? I don't think so. Get first item. First node. What about index? Index. Phone index. Good God. Good index 4 item. Here we go. I don't even know what that is. Get keys. All right, not sequencer. Where's just the goddamn array stuff? Geometry. Widgets. Common widget switcher. Good God. So sometimes my brain is on the wavelength with Unreal, and sometimes it's not. Like, all I'm trying to do is get fucking item at index 0, and I'm failing to even figure out how to do that. So index. Get index. I don't know what a U rig. Oh, U rig. That's not going to work, is it? No. I just want a fucking item from an array by I want item 0. How the fuck do I get that? Why is this so hard to figure out? My brain, I guess I'm just not thinking this morning. Oh, and I just realized, again, you guys can't see this. So annoying. All right. Yeah, no, that's not what I want. Fuck me, man. Array. Get. Jesus Christ. All right. Should not have been that hard. And then how about it is valid? I think I need to make sure it's a real thing, right? Hey, what's up? Hi, sweetie. Instance struct. No. My management. I sure. All right. Guess we'll assume it works. Turn is Boolean. We got item 0 from this. Ew. All right. And then here. And that. B1. Navigation system. I don't even know if this is the right thing to be looking at. Why is this not working? Nav. Navmesh bounds volume. Okay. I mean, that seems right. Get actors. Given an array and an index returns a temporary copy. I don't think that's what I want. I want a reference, not a copy. Of course not. Oh my god, I'm so fucking frustrated. Also, a regular part of game development. Let's see here. How to get the first item of an array. Jesus. I feel like once I get to a point where I'm having to ask super basic questions like that, I just, truthfully, I should stop. Get. It's get. Of course it's get. I tried get. There's too many fucking gets in here. Context sensitive. Ability, collision, data, utilities, array. I don't want a copy. That's what I had, but I don't want a copy. This says it's a copy. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so frustrated. All right. I do know that usually when something like this happens, where I'm like, okay, I need to do a thing, right? I want to call when the bounds change or whatever, and they're like, oh, but first you need a reference to the thing, this, right? Okay. Oh, but to get the reference to the thing, you need to get all actors of the type. Say, okay. Now you have too many, so now you need to get the first one. All right, now you're struggling to figure that out. Usually, when I'm doing development and I find that everything I'm trying to do keeps resulting in a but first, but first, but first, and each one of those steps is frustrating or like just not working. Like why is it so fucking hard? Usually, what this means is I'm going about whatever I'm trying to do the wrong way. There's usually a better way. I used to get that all the time when dealing with like angles and like and when I was building like simple physics engines or like for like a 2D game or something, and I'm trying to get like say a turret, right? And I want it to point a certain way, and it's currently pointing this way or whatever. I'm trying to find the angle between, and I want to sleuth the turret around or something like that. I'm dealing with angles, and I've got like it's pointing at 355, and I want to point it, or it's pointing at 5. I want it to go to 355, and I'm trying to figure out which way does it go and all that. And when I first started out, I was trying to deal with it in degrees. No, I was trying to deal with it as an angle, and then without realizing that there are things like dot products and with vector math, that can get you your solution without ever having to muck around with all that stuff. And that was an important lesson that I learned. I can't say early on, relatively early on, but that I did eventually learn is that usually when something is extremely difficult or awkward, or you have to do like a lot of like, I won't say work around stuff, but you're just constantly like, oh, I got to get this, but now I got to do that, but now I got to do that, but now I got to do that. Also, that you can get to the point where you can start the thing you actually want to do. Like, I haven't even gotten to however the fuck I'm supposed to update the size because I can't get to the starting point. That usually means I'm going about something like just the wrong way. Yeah, which means my brain's just not in gear, I guess, to be doing this. Uh, I don't know. I don't know a better way to put it. So, um, so I'm gonna stop. Like I don't know. I've been doing this for how long now? It doesn't tell me anymore. I've made absolutely zero fucking progress. So I'm gonna stop. I don't know why my throat's so fucking dry. I just don't know what's going on. I don't know why I'm so out of sorts today. So I apologize. I don't know if there's anything useful in here at all. If there was, let me know. Jesus, I may just well delete the whole stream. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna get some lunch and then I'll come back and I'm actually just gonna play some games. I am thinking Space Engineers and then also I want to finish my game with Full Fathom. I think I'm almost at the end. I don't think there's anything left to do. So I may do that as well. We'll see. But I guess for now, that's it. Thanks guys for hanging out. I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.